Well, the use of drugs like Ozempic has exploded because of their weight loss benefits. Demand for the injections is so high that manufacturers simply can't keep up. Doctors and health officials, though, want patients to know about some very serious side effects and possible health risks when it comes to taking these drugs. So joining us now is Dr. Celine Gounder. She's the editor-at-large for public health at KFF Health News and a CBS News medical contributor. She's also a physician and an epidemiologist at NYU and Bellevue hospitals. Thank you for coming. So, geez, I got to figure out where to start. First off, KFF released new polling this morning that shows that many people are interested in taking weight loss drugs. What are some of the key points that you found in this study?
Well, almost half of Americans are interested in taking these weight loss drugs, even if it's just to shed a couple pounds. But once you tell them, hey, your insurance might not cover it, oh, the FDA has not recommended all of these drugs for weight loss, and there might be significant side effects, the interest drops dramatically.
Because I think people just see it sort of as an easy fix, but you always have to pay some way or another, whether you're paying in your money or paying some other way. We will get to the possible side effects, but I want to ask you about this. University of Texas, they are ending their insurance coverage when it comes to these drugs, and they basically said, it's costing us so much, and the drugs are just emerging. We don't know where they're going to go in another 5 or 10 years, and we don't have the money for it. Do you see this as part of a trend where insurance companies are going to start to take a second look? Because the truth of the matter is these drugs are approved for diabetes, not for weight loss.
We're talking about, say, $1,400 a month per person per month for some of these drugs. And so that is just, it's unattainable for most of the average Americans. It's also unattainable for insurance companies. This is really expensive.
Yeah.
And if you start covering these drugs for everyone, you know, more than 40% of Americans are obese, that really is going to bankrupt your healthcare system.
And I mean, you're talking about obese, but then there are people who are just overweight, and then that percentage is even larger now. A lot of us got to lose a few. The makers of Ozempic, so this is like a subcategory of health news now, right? We're just doing like these weight loss drugs as a subcategory of health news. This week, the makers of Ozempic and Mounjaro, they're being sued over claims of potentially some pretty serious side effects. One of them has to do with stomach paralysis that some people said that they suffered. Now, when we ran the story earlier this week, though, it seemed to me that at least one of the plaintiffs had diabetes, and that stomach paralysis is also one of the things that could happen when you have diabetes. So I want to ask you about some of the concerning side effects. Is this one of them? Is it really a side effect that is more likely to affect people with other health issues, not just the fact that they're overweight?
It's a good question, and we don't have the answer to that yet because we're just starting to see some of these side effects emerge. But remember, how do these drugs work? They work on the hormones that communicate between your brain and your gut. So your brain telling your stomach, time to empty now. And so if that is not functioning correctly, you might well see the stomach not emptying properly, essentially paralyzed. As you know, diabetes can also cause some problems in this way. So it's at this stage very hard to sort out. Is this the diabetes? Is this the drug? Is it something else?
So people need to know, though, you might lose the weight, but you might end up with another health complication to add to whatever you were struggling with before.
Right, just like we've seen the possible association of suicidal thoughts, suicide with these drugs. Is it because of the drugs? Is it the obesity itself, perhaps, that's causing these suicidal feelings? We don't know the answer to that yet.
My last question to you. So listen, if this isn't covered by insurance, it's like $1,300 a month. We talked about the price. The one thing that was kind of like transformative about these drugs, though, is after decades of being told calories in, calories out, suddenly there was a drug that suggested that maybe there's something more. Maybe everything that we've learned, that we've been trying to do, really isn't working. What do you say to someone who's like, I think this drug is my only option? What are the other options if you want to lose weight? And don't say go to the gym.
Look, something has changed over the last 50 years or so. We went from about 10% obese to 40% obese.
Yeah.
What changed? Our food supply. There's a lot more sugar, salt, fat in the food supply. We have food subsidies that actually incentivize things like corn syrup in your food. So when you have those incentives in place, a lot of money being made off of this, it's really hard for us as the average person to fight back against that. So these are things that really need to be changed at a more systemic level to make it easier for us to be healthier.